Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, I want to talk about something that could be quite big. I want to talk about the possibility that for November, we might not actually be getting a month-long event. And what I mean by that is like what we're used to with Spider-Man 2099 and these sort of overarching month-long events that we've had in the past since May. So that's the topic of today's video. We're going to talk about and look at some of the evidence that might point and suggest why this might not be happening in November and why they might be going back to some of the types of events that they've done in the past. It's not to say that we won't be getting, of course, weekly events and things like that, but it may not be in the same way that we've been used to since, I guess I started it in May with Spider-Woman. So if you're ready to go, then let's boil this down. Now, I want to start things off with the Friday blog post again, specifically because I want to scroll down and look at the Zombie Ironman event and kind of go over that a little bit with you guys in terms of what more to expect out of that. Now, this event is going to be live on October 27th. Now, bringing up my my calendar here in the bottom right. 27, no, it's off the frame here, but anyways, 27th is a Thursday, so that's going to be coming up pretty soon, which is a bit of an unusual time. You know, we're sort of in the middle of that last Midnight Haunt week 4. I've already done the video on that, and so go check that out if you need to. But for this one, we don't actually know how many days it's going to last. Now, it's not going to be, as far as I'm aware, this is not an event. It's not an event campaign that lasts 15 days that we're used to every patch. And the reason for this is because it doesn't follow the same structure. So, well, what I am curious about, because it does say Commander level 27, and I do believe that this is actually where event campaigns do start, but maybe that's just where it unlocks on the front screen. I'm not sure. So it doesn't really give us a duration here. So there is a little bit of stuff up in the air. However, if you look further about the Undead Genius Orb, if you take a look about how you're earning these, start your zombie hunt by earning Undead Genius Orb fragments from the Trick or Treat nodes, which suggests it's a limited time campaign at the very least. We don't get these very often. I think the last one we had that I can remember is Falcon and the Winter Soldier in 2021, where we had like a special sort of limited time event, and it was using its own energy as well. And then open these Undead Genius Orbs. Orbs contain Ironman zombie shards, so earn as many as possible from that. And then it kind of goes a little bit, it's you know, the way that they lined it up or they laid it out is not very clear here, but use special event energy to battle through 5 mission nodes. So this is specifically for the Undead Genius Orb farming. It's like this, right? And then, so event campaigns have 9 nodes, not 5. And then if you go a little bit further on, it says, along with Undead Genius Orbs, mission rewards gold basic orb fragments. So this is actually not too far off what we normally get with event campaigns. You know, the 15-day ones, like Spider Weaver, for example. Earning 3 stars in a mission unlocks auto wins. The thing that really raises my attention, though, is that it's only 5 nodes. Normally we have 9, of course, with all event campaigns. And then the second part of this, after you've recruited Iron Man Zombie, sink your teeth into the Zombie Party missions, which requires Iron Man Zombie and 4 characters of your choosing to attempt missions. Each mission gives 1 set of rewards, and it's a one-time reward, basically. So you'll do these later on, and some of them give you uniques, the new Fortified Chromium unique, which very likely is going to be used for Archangel, probably, right? You know, that's so I would be cautious about overspending on Iron Man Zombie in case someone else comes out that you're going to want to need it for. But these are one-time clears. So it's a 2-part. This is the second part, and this is the first part, the farming of the 5 nodes. And to me, I just think we don't know the duration, and that's a little bit unfortunate that we don't know that, because that would kind of clarify things on that. But because it's 5 and not 9 nodes, I don't think it's the typical event campaign that we're used to, that we're going to be getting. So I think this is just like a special event, might be running for maybe a week, maybe less, you know, who knows, right? Maybe till the end of the following week, which will be that November the 1st. And that's where I want to kind of lead into. So we don't have anything, because after Midnight Haunt, basically the next event would have to start here, Monday 31st and Tuesday November 1st. Somewhere around there, right, for the next month long, if we had one. Now, here's why it gets a bit tricky. So if you look on the calendar, right, I know it cuts off a little bit here, but we're going to be getting the patch probably on Tuesday. maybe Wednesday, but it's probably going to be one of these 2 days. And we're going to be getting red stars for Zombie Iron Man. Okay. And an offer, I'm sure, and so on and so forth. Now, normally, a red star character in the featured orbs are there for about a week, at least a week, if not a little bit more. And so that means that rolls into the next week. So if there is an event, a month-long event with a character, then that would have to be immediately on November 1st, when Zombie Iron Man leaves the red star orbs. That is possible. However, that means that the month-long event is starting on the exact same day as the offers are being made available. And that's never happened before so far. If we go into my character spreadsheet, we can look at some of the details of the data. And they're always before. We had, with Spider-Man 20, Windows security. Spider-Man 2099 was on September the 22nd for an offer, and then the month-long started on the 3rd of October. We had Deathlock 27th of July. We had about 4 or 5 days here in between before his month-long event started, but still, it's beforehand. We had, who was that before that? Mighty Thor. This was about 8 days beforehand, before the July event. And then, of course, Spider-Woman, I think I missed one. Oh, Dazzler as well. Again, 4 or 5 days. And then Spider-Woman. Okay, so here's interesting. But this was the start of the patch. And this was the very first event. So Spider-Woman was on the exact same day that it started. However, it was the first character of the patch. And for this coming patch, I don't know if it's necessarily in this order, but we have Iron Man Zombie, we have Black Panther 10 million BC, we have Nakia, and allegedly we have Dark Beast. My guess is that's a character that the Envoys are holding on to, as part of a rework for this Death Seed team. With the Magneto and Psylocke rework, that's probably something we're going to see from them in a video on maybe on the same day as this release, or on Tuesday morning or something like that. That's probably what's going to happen. Now, this leads to a few other things as well. And this I want to talk about. So this is a post that community art manager Archangel wrote in one of Mobile Gamer's streams. This was shared with me, the screenshot, and I think this has been shared around a little bit already, so you might have already seen this, and it's to do with Zombie Iron Man. So you wanted to know what is different about this release. We have established that normally there are offers right after the initial release, and with Zombie Iron Man, at the moment, there is no plans for his offers to come around until next year. Now, keep in mind, next year is literally 2 months from now, because we're kind of entering November soon, and there's November and December, right? So technically, calendar year, it is 2 months. Now, if they're talking about a full-on year, this time next year, that's what they're talking about. I mean, we have no idea, right? And insert FOMO here, but I wouldn't really that'll be a conversation for closer to the time of the Iron Man event, when I actually calculate how many shards are going to be available for him. But I really wouldn't buy into this sort of FOMO behavior that they're trying to establish a new sort of a trend here by telling you that you're not going to get a chance to get more shards for him after the initial release. So we don't know, obviously, how many shards are going to be available for Zombie Iron Man, but I would caution you about spending money on the basis of this. They're basically saying that there won't be any of those, additional 50 shard offers that you kind of see after a character release. It's probably just going to be the event. And he's not going to be in the orbs, which is interesting too. So he's going to be one of the only characters, I think. Maybe Silver Surfer went a very long time, actually, before he was in orbs. But yeah, so Zombie Iron Man apparently won't be in orbs either. So take that for what you will. Now, there was a statement here about Mr. Negative. Why are we talking about Mr. Negative? Is because I want you to think about, if there was a month-long character, who would it be? And would it be Mr. Negative? Because if we went back to the character thing, it's either Mr. Negative, or it would be one of the Wakandans. I don't know in which order they're being released. We haven't seen the silhouette on that, interestingly. I think it's a bit late. I guess they could release it this week. No, it wouldn't even make sense to do that. I think they skipped the silhouette this time. So it doesn't really matter. One of the new Wakandans or War Dogs will probably be or hypothetically could be the month-long event, and one of these would be an event campaign character, and it most likely is not going to be Dark Beast. Dark Beast, however, could make a return for a month-long event in December, but it seems like they may have been skipping this. Now, to get proper information about this, because apparently the comment by Archangel had been deleted. Anyways, this post was 6 days ago. I've heard all the talk about Mr. Negative only being unlocked by paying for him. I saw the in-game message that didn't specifically mention an unlock event. Can we get, or has there been any official communication on whether or not there will be an event for him? Is he really store only or not? Now, this comment deleted by user. I am pretty sure this was something that Archangel posted, and I have this here, of course, for my dev post tracker. So we will be giving the information in a few weeks on how to unlock Mr. Negative. All I can say at the moment is the data miner guessers are wrong if they say Mr. Negative is a pay-only character. His release will involve the web store, so we kind of knew that, right? He's suggesting that it won't be, that there will be some web store event, and we'll be giving information in a few weeks. Now, this was posted on the 18th of October, so this was a couple of days ago now. But if he's saying a few weeks, now a few in my English language is at least 2. It's probably closer to 3, because sometimes when people say a couple, that's, I guess bare minimum 2, could be 3, right, or more. But so I would suggest that this means in 3 weeks. That's what I'm gonna say. It could be 2. But that means that if you take 2 weeks even from the 18th of October, that actually brings us to that first week of November, which means this is like the bare minimum that we're getting information on Mr. Negative. We're not getting an event for him necessarily. We're getting more information about Mr. Negative on the first week of November or the second week of November, right? If it's further down. So he can't be a month-long event for November if his information is just coming out at the start of November, right? And so to go back to the characters, it's like, okay, if it's not Mr. Negative and it's not Iron Man Zombie, then who is it? And I just don't think that the timeline is there for the release, because if we put in that like I talked about the Red Star store, right, or the featured in the orbs, there's just not enough turnaround time for either Black Panther or Nakia it would have to be on the same day. It would literally have to be the start of the month-long event on that first week of November there, the first or the second, with the Red Stars for these characters at the same time, which kind of defeats the purpose in some ways of buying the offers, because I realize it's a month-long event, but often that people want more time to be able to play with the character before they slowly get released. Now, I know that for month-long characters, typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks anyways before you have a chance to get them unlocked. So it is possible, but it's just incredibly tight on the timeline that I just don't know if that's going to happen. Now, like I said, the only other suggestion possibly is that it is Mr. Negative, and it's going to be a month-long web milestone and not an in-game milestone. So that part we don't necessarily know, and we'll have to wait and find out. But I think that there's more evidence pointing that they may be taking a break from it, and we've had 6 months of month-long events, and maybe there's enough data for them to be able to figure things out now. And the last thing I want to talk about is, if we're not, this is my my month-long spreadsheet that I have for so many of them, right? And so I'm just going to double back to October, which is the Future Shock one. And it kind of raises questions for some of the ongoing events that we've had in the past, specifically Coordinated Assault, because a lot of Coordinated Assault, excluding the blue 4 ions that are at the end of it, a lot of the point of this event was actually for the event monthly currency, because we had it twice, so this repeats twice. And I don't know what becomes of these events then if there is no month-long event. And I know we haven't had in a while, but we had sort of the reappearance of not Helicare, where was the other one, the war one? It's in August, maybe. The Victory Blueprint. Okay, so we didn't have Victory Blueprint in September or October. Sorry, it did come in September, but it wasn't part of the month-long currency. It just kind of reappeared for blue 4 ions and things like that. And so these two are often repeating events that we have. Same with the Quick Rumble. So if we don't have the month-long event, then is the Quick Rumble blitzes on Friday disappearing? Are we getting a new weekly blitz schedule? There's a few things that are up for grabs here if there is no month-long calendar event, and that's some things that we'll have to find out, I guess, by Friday. Because honestly, if there is going to be a month-long event, it has to be announced on next Friday. Because if it's not, then we're going into the following week, which is in November, with absolutely nothing. Well, just the standard events that we would typically have. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. If, in fact, that we don't have any more month-long events, at least for November, who knows about December, let me know if that's something that's positive for you guys. Because personally, I'm just kind of sick of the FOMO. I'm sick of having to, hardcore every single event, regardless of if I want to or not. So for example, like the Midnight Haunt event is just a costume event pretty broadly. Like if it wasn't the item that was in there, the molecule suit, most of us probably wouldn't be engaging as hard in this event if the item wasn't there. So I know that we kind of need a break every now and then, to play the game casually if we want to. We shouldn't have to be playing hardcore to complete every event regardless of if we want to or not. And I think that these month-long events really put a lot of pressure on the player community, and I think that a lot of people may have actually quit as a result over the last few months because they felt really burnt out by all of these events that have been going on in the game. So yeah, I'd really like to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you been feeling this way, especially the burnout with the events? Do you find this a positive or a negative if the event, the November month-long event, might not be happening? That doesn't mean we're not going to be getting events. It just means that we won't have an overarching event that kind of funnels into everything. Personally, I would like to take a break, and I would definitely like to take a break over the winter, but I don't know if we'll be getting that. Be hard to say. We'll see pretty soon, though. And of course, that's it, everyone. So until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.